Yo, back again, Sparklight. Got a guest again, John Davis, back again. Appreciate you coming through again.
What's going on?
Man, it's been a very eventful week. You actually asked a great question post game, and it wasn't even something that it didn't even dawn on me honestly until you said it, and then I went back and looked, and I was like, oh, you have a point. But you said that Nneka, you asked Derek if Nneka should be in the MVP conversation.
John W. Davis with W Insider Coach. As your team continues to progress in the standings and move up and continue to win, a natural question is going to come up saying, well, if the Sparks are one of the best teams in the league, obviously they need an MVP candidate. If you look at this roster, most people are thinking Nneka Oguwmike right now from your team. If you feel like she is an MVP caliber player, can you make the case why?
I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful to, other players and other teams, but statistically, she's in the top 5 in quite a few categories in terms of season averages, points, rebounds. She's shooting a good percentage from the three-point line. Her team is continuing to slide up the standings. She's in the top 3, I think, in rebounding. Those are the things that put you in that conversation. She's been the MVP before, so it's not as though it's a surprise that she's in, she should be in the conversation. Defensively, what she does, that doesn't always necessarily, show up in the stat sheet. Like, she doesn't necessarily average 3 or 4 steals a game, but when you look at the way she rebounds the basketball, how she switches out in pick and roll, she can guard every position. Trust me, other coaches know that she's an MVP caliber player. We know it, and we're fortunate to have her. And so, whether she wins it or not, she's been our most valuable and most consistent player all season long. And I think she embraces being a leader. She embraces being the foundation and kind of the rock of our team. And she plays that way. And so Nneka deserves every, award, recognition, accolade in life. Like, she is
MVP conversation.
Right.
And he gave you a pretty extensive answer. You could speak more about what he gave you, the answer he gave you.
Yeah. He gave a pretty extensive answer, and he basically said that she's top 5 in a lot of categories, and that on the Sparks, she has been the most valuable player, most valuable and most consistent player with, people being in and out the lineup. She's only missed that one game for rest, the Space Jam 2 game, So she missed that game. She dressed, but she just didn't play. Actually won, but she's been the most consistent player of the month in July.
Yep.
Just won player of the week again.
Yep.
That's her second one.
Nah, it really, it didn't dawn on me until you said it. Front of one, it didn't dawn on me that, I knew it, but I hadn't, checked the standings in, a week. So it also didn't really put it together that they're third now in the standings.
Right.
They're third, and they
half a game back from second.
Half a game back from second.
And 1.5 from first. And like we talked last week, you really only need to be top 2. Obviously, you want to have home court throughout in the finals, but top 2 is the goal.
No, and I really think that it's doable. I don't know if you saw Liz Cambage's article today.
I read it.
Yeah,
yes.
So prayers up to Liz. Hope she gets better. But basketball-wise, that does affect things. They're 4th now, and Asia's still out.
Right.
So basketball-wise, that really, really actually does affect things. So I don't know if the Sparks, not the Sparks, but the Aces will be able to come back up and overtake the Sparks.
They still have one game against them, and it could work out like that, but 5-game winning streak for the Sparks. Best in the league right now. Just won the last 4 after All-Star break.
Connecticut's on the 2-game losing streak.
Right.
And they've had a couple losing streaks this season. They've had a kind of weird season. It's they'll win 4 games, then lose 3 or 4 in a row.
This is what it is. Connecticut is 11-1 at home and 5-7 on the road.
So they can't win on the road. And Sparks 6-6 on the road. I mean, outside outside of
The best road team is the Mystics.
Yeah, the Mystics. So again, Deladon's probably gonna end up winning the MVP.
Yeah.
Ever since she came back from that facial injury, she has been mad at the world.
Well, this is the thing. So, first of all, let's look at Nneka Oguwmike's stats. So, Nneka is averaging 17 points, 9.5 rebounds. Let's just round that up to a double-double. Okay? And then she's shooting basically 49% from the field. She is shooting 40% from 3, 83 from free throw, and she's giving you 2 assists, 2 steals.
2 steals and a half a block.
That's a great stat line.
Great stat line.
But when you look at Elena Deladon, it's just a half a level above.
Yeah.
It's just a half a level above. I mean, she did miss those couple games from the concussion because of the facial injury that she picked up early on against the Sparks. But she's averaging 19 points, so that's more. She's shooting 51%, that's higher from field. She's shooting 42% from 3, that's higher. She's shooting 95% from free throw, that's higher. She has 8.3 rebounds. I mean, that's one less. 2.1 assists, the same. Steals a little lower and blocks higher.
No, she's gonna win. But
Yeah.
I do want to, like, when you brought it to light, I do want to really compliment Nneka on the season that she's having.
But I will say that Nneka does have a chance because the most valuable player in my mind, a lot of it comes down to the stretch run. Let's say somehow the Mystics start to falter and the Sparks barely lose another game.
Yeah.
And the Sparks have the number 1 seed
Oh, yeah,
and the
yeah,
Mystics are
yeah.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
Then you really have to say the most valuable player is likely on the best team.
Yeah, the best team.
Because that's why Brittany Griner can't win. Just because
Especially-
she's leading the league in points and everything.
I have something to say
things
about
like
Brittany
that.
Griner's game against the Sparks as well. Like that was my first time seeing her play in person.
Okay.
And I didn't feel like she made herself doubleable. Like even though she had 25 points, I didn't feel like she made it where it's like, yo, you have to double me or I'm going to score every single time. I still think that she left a lot of points on the table and like the 6 rebounds kind of like you're 6'6". You should be out there getting more than 6 rebounds.
She's 6'9".
6'9". Yeah, not 6'6".
She's 6'9".
6'9". You should be out there getting more than 6 rebounds. Like you should be out
Yeah.
there literally getting.
She's not necessarily a passionate rebounder, but I will say that we do have to point out that TRP was picking up full court that game. We
TRP
haven't
was
seen her
picking up
do it
full
before
court. Yeah,
or
yeah,
since.
yeah, it's been-
And so that's going to slow down your offense.
Yeah.
So essentially, all they had was time for one look. It was get grinding the ball. Okay, you got to shoot. There was no time to, this is not working. Give it out to Bonner, let Bonner work. They didn't have time to go through like 2 or 3 different reads. It was like one thing, that's it.
TRP has been. I mean, she even did it in the Chicago game a little bit, but it didn't work as well because Gabby is a little bit bigger than Leilani. So
Yeah.
you can't just she can't just maneuver her all around the court.
I
the same
enjoy
way she
seeing
did.
Point Gabby. That's a good
No,
look.
I did, but I
It's
will
not better than Vandersloot
at all.
but
But
it's an option. It's a way to show versatility.
I agree, but even in that game, I was kind of, especially down the stretch, which is again what I've been complimenting Derek on like all season, is that for the most part, when they lose a game, I never am watching it and I'm like, oh man, Derek didn't put him in the best position to win. Outside of the game against the Liberty, and which is the game when the center had 37 points.
Zowie
That
B.
game. Yeah, outside of that game, like that game. And I get the concept and the thinking behind it, but I'm like, bro, she has 25 at halftime.
Right.
She finished the game with 37.
Right.
I know she came into the game 4 of 21 for 3, but it seems like she's having a great night. Do something different. But I do get the thinking of it. But outside of that, I never think that coach doesn't put them in the best position to win. And that's something I always want to commend him on. And usually it just happens that way because he doesn't overcoach. He recognized, Chelsea got it going tonight. So you know what, down the stretch, here Chelsea, carry us home. And I
Right.
felt like that a lot of times down the stretch. I think his name is what's the guy's coach's name? Is it
James Wade.
James Wade. I feel like a lot of times down the stretch, James Wade was trying to call too many plays and coach a little bit too much. And it's like, for one, they're switching everything. Diamond DeShields, like, just watching her, she might be one of the most athletic guards in the league. Like, she
probably, because she's a little taller than most guards, I would say she probably is the most athletic guard.
I honestly think she could touch the rim.
She can dunk, bro.
No.
She's just not doing it. She can dunk.
No, literally, me, shout out my homie Damon.
Touch the rim.
We had that conversation yesterday. Like, no, literally, we had that conversation after the game. It was like, yo, bro, I think she could actually dunk. Like, there was one play she went, reversed, and passed it out. I'm like, yo. I'm like,
she definitely can.
I'm like, you are like a world-class Olympic type athlete. You're a world-class athlete. Like, shout out to Sparks, but can't nobody stay in front of her if you just, like, she's too fast.
No.
Why are you calling plays? Like, why is Quigley isoing at the end of the game?
Yeah.
Why? Give her the ball. Tell everyone
I'm
move.
not sure if she was into track and field when she was young, but the perfect event for somebody like that would be high jump.
I agree.
Because of that height.
Yeah.
Because the best high jumpers are usually about 6'5", 6'6". But then, you know, in America, we have just people who are superior athletes who can get it done when they're like 6 foot, 6'1". So she can make up that difference in the 5 inches that somebody taller would have. So,
agreed.
You know, if the average, 6'5", 6'6" person has the ability to touch the rim and things like that, she easily makes that up with just that extra bounce.
And again, sometimes you got to throw the X's, away, put the ball in your best player hand, and just live with the results. And I always want to compliment Derek for doing that. And Chelsea is having a great season. She's a great guard, but I think playing under Derek and the confidence that he shows in all of his players for the most part. Like, I think when sometimes you do put the ball in somebody's hand and you know what, I'm going to live with it, that gives me confidence. Like, that lets me know you're willing to live and die with whatever happens. And me as a player, it puts the onus on me, and it puts it just lights an extra fire underneath me.
If you talk about ISO Gray, which I like to call her, that's my nickname for her. When she gets to those plays, ISO Gray, Clutch Gray, the point guard, whatever you want to call her, I think she has the ability to focus just a little bit more on getting an open shot in the fourth quarter.
I agree. And her footwork is incredible. She can pretty much get in because she's a bigger guard for the most part. She could post you. She could work in the mid-range. She could shoot.
Her footwork is great, but she also has like this herky-jerky, kind of off-balance rhythm to her game, which is hard to guard.
I agree.
Because it's unexpected. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, she's like going this way, going that way. She's leaning back and forth.
I agree.
And it's just a little off-center. And that may be sometimes why we see her airball shots.
Yeah.
But
when it works, it works.
When it works, it works.
When it works, it works.
Definitely.
So yeah, I mean, one thing that's still troubling to me is the 3-point line. I mean, like, look, the Sky took 24 threes. They only made 25% of them. So they're getting away with not necessarily always getting out the shooters. Quigley missed a lot of good looks, but obviously maybe if Vandersloot is there, some of those looks are even a little bit more open.
Right.
But that still troubles me. Like,
but you had somebody out there thinking that she was Nador 2.0 shooting threes. Nador shot 3 threes. It's like, come on, what you doing?
They were okay.
No.
The thing about her taking those threes is this. They were open. I understand why she shot them. She probably can't hit that shot, but they were open. Like, literally. It was
because you have an open shot doesn't mean you take the shot.
I understand that, but at like some point, if that's what people get mad at Ben Simmons about. Literally, people will guard him from the free throw line. He'll be at the 3-point line. Don't even shoot the ball. Don't even look at the rim. Like, you have to at least attempt to shoot it. Want to know why? Because 1 or 2 of them go in. Now you out there. Now somebody's like, okay, maybe I should at least think about putting a hand up in her face, and it opens up something for somebody else, something for somebody else. But I feel you though. She probably can't hit that shot, but she was wide open.
If you notice that she's wide open, then it's up to you to switch her and Dolson and give Dolson an opportunity to shoot those, because she can make
But she
threes.
couldn't stay on the floor like that though. That's the issue. Like they would put her in a pick and roll, and it's like she couldn't. Like, she's just not light enough on her feet to be able to, deal with it. Like once
give
Chelsea,
Cheyenne Parker those looks. Do something different.
She did hit a 3.
Right. Do something different.
I mean, Cheyenne did have a 19-point game, a very, very sneaky 19-point game. Like, I noticed it, but I didn't really notice it. Like, I actually thought Diamond had more points than what she actually scored, just because everything she did was just so loud.
Right. But you know who else had a sneaky game?
Who?
She played 11 minutes and 25 seconds, but Maria Vadiva, they call her Masha, 12 points in 11 minutes.
Nah, I mean, I thought for the first half she was the best player on the court for the.
She was. She scored 7
Sparks.
points in the first quarter when they needed points.
Like, Maria, first of all, I didn't know she was 21. I don't know why, but I just
turned 21.
just turned 21. It's just her game is so polished. To me, honestly, if I had an NBA comparison for her, I think she's a lot like Pau Gasol. I really, really think like when I look at her and I think about the NBA comparison, I think of like Pau Gasol for her. But her game is just so polished, and she does things that you wouldn't expect out of a young player, that I thought she was honestly like 28 years old. I really thought she was much, much older. Like I've been talking about the future of the league and just like the future of the Sparks on this show for a minute,
right.
And I think that, man, if you got Kalani and you got Maria and you got Marina on your team,
right.
Chelsea's still 26 years old.
Right.
Sydney's not old. Like, I mean, Nneka is 29, but that's still not old.
The only two players you have with more than 10 years experience on this team are Parker and Beard.
Like, I think this Sparks team can be good for a very long time.
Those are the only ones over 30.
I think this Sparks team can be good for a very, very long time. And again, I didn't even know Maria was 21 years old. I mean, in the first game she played against the Aces, she was far and away the best player on the Sparks.
Right.
But like that was a play. She stole the ball, ran in transition, got a layup. I'm like, okay, I didn't even know you could do that. But no, I'm with you. Like having her come off the bench, like off your bench, is just such a luxury.
Right. And eventually, you're probably going to have her and say maybe Raquana coming off the bench, because Raquana is comfortable coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Imagine those two coming off the bench, giving you that spark.
Yeah, like that. I don't know of many teams, but again, that's why I think this team has so much potential. And as long as I'm with you, I don't want them in a single game elimination. Reason being is because they don't like. I mean, you
no, because look at the last game. The Sky were 6 of 24 from 3, 25%. They only lost by 3 points.
They lost by 3 points. Like, again, because look, I was like thinking about this morning, right?
They made half those threes.
It's over with. Like,
super over.
I was
with.
thinking about this morning. Like, the Sky is a team that I can see the Sparks beating them in every matchup in the regular season, end up playing a single game elimination against them and losing randomly because somebody just gets hot.
Right.
And if I think they got the strategy down, shoot threes. If they're gonna give you the looks, shoot them. Now, if you can't make them, it is what it is. But I think they got the strategy down. So that's the only thing that scares me and why I don't think they need to be in the single game elimination. Because, man, a team like Chicago, team like Seattle, you end up playing a team with a shooter and somebody get hot.
Even a team like Phoenix, because you know who they have waiting to come back.
Diana. Yeah, Diana step on the court.
15 threes a game. She don't care.
Diana step on the court and get hot one night and you going home.
Right.
But if they can just stay away from the single game elimination, man, and we get into a series and usually, barring injury in a series, talent takes over.
Right.
I mean, Elena still hasn't even played. And
I talked to her after the game on Sunday, and she says that she's ready. So we can expect her back.
What do you see her role being, and where do you see her fitting in with this team when she gets back?
Well, I consider her essentially the defensive coordinator right now. That's what I look at her. And I feel like she, at this point, since they're rolling so well with everybody, you want a player, but limited minutes, coming off injury, limited minutes. I see her coming off the bench, and I see, let's say, a situation like yesterday where you're down by 12 in the first quarter. All right, well, it's Elena Beard time. Put her out there with, say, Masha and Raquana Williams. Get everybody focused, everybody committing to playing defense, because that's what I talked to her about. And she basically said, we just decided to play defense. And I asked her, is it that easy sometimes? And she said yes.
Like, defense for the most part isn't, I mean, obviously some people have,
you have to commit to it first.
Yeah, like some people have the natural ability to be better defenders, obviously,
Right.
if you're like, have a crazy wingspan or something like that, or you're more athletic. But for the most part, if you want to play defense, you can be a good defender.
Right.
Now, granted, you won't be Elena Beard, but you can be a good defender if you just want to play defense.
Right. So imagine when they need some stops and it's Beard and TRP out there going after you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to from her, because that's what they were thinking. They probably were thinking, honestly, if they were thinking starting lineup, everybody was healthy. If I'm Coach Fisher, I probably would have started Gray, Beard, TRP, Nneka, and Candace Parker. That probably would have been my starting five at the beginning of the season.
You would say where's the shooting, but I mean, because that's what everybody said about that lineup at first. But TRP is showing that she can hit an open shot. Like, you can't just leave her there. Like, she can go 1 for 3, which still, if
Right.
she's going 1 for 3, is
she's
like
doing better than that this year.
exactly. When I think, what is she shooting from the 3? Actually,
Beard
she's
can
shooting,
shoot too, man. Beard can play.
She's shooting 37% from
Right.
the 3-point line.
Beard is a baller though.
Yeah, she just made the commitment to play more defense.
Right.
Than
Since she's been with the Sparks,
yeah.
she just decided that
I'm gonna just play defense.
if I'm on a team with Nneka and Candace and whoever else,
I don't
they've
have to
had,
score.
Yeah, and
I can
they've
just
had
play
Christy
defense.
Tolliver at some point, and now they have Chelsea Gray. They've had Odyssey Sims. They've had people who
Can lift
who
the
are
scoring
more
burden.
more natural at just
Yeah.
that's the way they play. So she's just focused on what she's needed to. But there was a point in the league that she basically averaged 20.
Yeah. Bro,
It was
a while
years and
but-
years ago.
Years and years ago,
But
but
if
it
you
did
average
happen.
20 at some point, that means
That means
you
you
know
can
how to score.
Yeah, you know how to score. It's just you just made the choice that you know what, I'm gonna be the best defender that I can possibly be.
And we've seen her pregame the last couple games. Her jumper looks pretty nice,
Yeah.
man. She's got nice form. She can play.
Yeah. And one thing I do want to mention that like I've been noticing is Chelsea's willingness to take charges. And what I think it does, and the precedent I think it sets for the rest of the team. On the team, you still never really have an issue sacrificing your body and taking charges. How much of a precedent do you think that sets for the rest of the team?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like it takes gas out of their momentum when you're able to get a charge, or it energizes your team a lot when you're able to do that and get those key defensive stops. You can get a stop and then get in and out, but like you charge, you were there, your rotation is good, so just having kind of that mindset.
Thank you. I think that when you see, your all-star guard, some people say he's the best point guard in the league. I agree. But when you see a player of that caliber, like sacrificing the body, like getting on the people, taking charges. Charges is something that not everybody wants to take those. You get a knee in the chest, bruised sternum. You could actually
She was
hurt.
holding her elbow after.
Yeah,
one.
like charges are something that not everybody wants to take. You're like sacrificing your body. So when you see, and she's playing like pretty much 30 minutes a night every night.
34 minutes a night.
34,
man. Yeah.
30 minutes a night every night. So when
she probably wishes she played 30.
So
or Coach Fisher probably wishes she
could
played
play 30.
I don't think Chelsea cares.
Yeah, I think she's fine. She's a hooper. She doesn't care. But when you see, you're probably your best. Well, I think Nneka's the best player, but it could be an argument like on like some nights between Nneka, Chelsea, and Candace. But when you see her going out there taking those charges, I think it sets a precedent for everybody about what type of effort will and won't be accepted.
Especially for the guards coming off the bench.
Yeah, especially for the guards. It's like
because if the backup point guard is going to be Alexis Jones, she knows that she's going to have to compete the same way Chelsea Gray was competing on defense.
Exactly.
To get minutes.
Exactly. And I just think that, but that's also why I think this team is just really, really special, because I think that, for one, they can hold each other accountable. But like hold each other accountable without even like talking to each other. I think that like even just taking charges like that holds everybody accountable. It's like you said, it's like, man, if I'm coming in the game, I just saw Chelsea do that. I'm only playing 10 minutes.
Right.
So the 10 minutes I'm out there, I got to be 100% locked in. Even you see Marina, like the defense she's been playing recently. Like I thought that early in the season, that was kind of, I thought offensively she was good, but I thought defensively it would take her a little bit of time to adjust, and it did. But she's been playing much, much better defensively.
Right. After the All-Star break, I talked to Marina on Sunday, and after the All-Star break, Marina just decided that she wanted to do anything she had to do to play. That's how bad she wants to play. Is that she's going to go out there, she's going to hustle, she's going to tussle for the ball, she's going to almost intimidate you. Like, who is this? Like, what are you
Get
doing?
off of me.
Right, like,
Get off of me.
Stop bothering me.
Yeah, literally.
But,
and Fitch kind of alluded to that, like you can see her personality kind of come out defensively. Like you can kind of see that she's from New Jersey. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I know you grew up playing on the playground.
Right.
Like even I think it was was it the Seattle game when like she got like she stole the ball and then like threw it off of her.
Oh, she blocked
Yeah,
Lloyd.
she blocked it. Yeah, she blocked
She thought she was
Lloyd.
still in bounds
And
she
threw it like she threw the ball with a little bit extra aggression. You did not need to throw it that hard.
Right.
She could have just like tapped it off him. She like drilled the ball off her with a little extra aggression.
Good thing they both from Notre Dame. So
yeah, so it's like, oh, okay, it's cool. It's cool.
But
yeah. But you can really see, just her personality come out on that side. And the last thing I really, really want to talk about before we get out of here is 2K20 being on, well, not 2K20, but the WNBA being on 2K20.
Right.
And in my humble opinion, I think that's probably a top 5 most important thing that's happened to the WNBA.
It's hard to understand, I guess, why or how, right? We haven't prioritized as much putting, girls and women and young women in positions to be recognized, appreciated, celebrated, so that then the young people that are growing up behind them have a visual of like what it's like to, this is what I need to do in order to become elite, to put myself in position to be that one day. And we all at some level have had that example. There was a coach or a pastor or a friend or an uncle or someone maybe in our personal lives, but then as athletes you have to have, that muse, so to speak, of like, I want to be like him, I want to be like her. And so it's a video game and it sounds, simple, but for young girls to be able to cut on a video game and simulate being a woman instead of playing a video game and only being able to pick guys. Like, I don't know why it took us so long, but I'm glad that it's there, and the likeness is crazy. Like, they look literally just like the players. Like, they did a phenomenal job with it, and hopefully our rating can stay high. I know the 2K ratings is a big deal.
I do want to point out that they were in NBA Live 19 last year, but we all know that the preeminent basketball game in video games is 2K.
It's 2K. Maybe 10 years ago, maybe like 15 years ago.
No,
live,
when I had Sega Genesis, live 95, that was my joint. But since then,
2K.
I think I had 96, but that was about it.
Nah, I stopped playing live, I want to say probably like 05, 06, and then 2K kind of came out of nowhere and just completely took over.
NCAA football took it over for me, but it's very important that they're on that game because that is the preeminent game. All 12 teams will be in there. They're going to have accurate rosters. They're going to look like the players. They're going to have great ratings for them. Breanna Stewart's 95, Candace Parker 93. People were complaining saying, oh, why is Breanna Stewart a 95 and I don't know, Thomas Sadaransky is a 72.
They're not. Yeah, that was so stupid. It's like it's a whole different mode of the game.
Side.
Stop.
But I think it's important that they have those star players be in the 90s because against the players in this league, that's what they are. You got to remember, Candace Parker, some people could honestly say Candace Parker peaked her rookie year.
No, yeah, literally.
You know what she did her rookie year?
Yeah, she won MVP and won a championship.
Rookie of the year and MVP the first year.
First year.
Where do you go from there? You can't continue to win Rookie of the Year. But when you are already at the precipice as a rookie, where do you go from there?
She has she might be the greatest women. I mean, well, I think Diana Taurasi's obviously up there. Maya Moore was heading that direction. Mm-hmm. Maya Moore is up there as well. But Candace is in the conversation for greatest women's basketball player of all time.
Right.
And I think that for one, not just it's not just like it's a play now mode. Like, if to my understanding, I think they actually have like franchise and dynasty mode with the WNBA.
Have a season mode.
Season mode, something like that. A season mode. So like you can do more than just, like go in and play one game, but you can actually like get into it and like figure out what a season is like. Mm-hmm. And I think that I asked Coach about it, and I agree with everything he said. I think that for me, right, the way I really, really got into basketball was video games. Like, I would buy Live 98 and I would play Live 98. And that's how because obviously I didn't have League Pass growing up, like basketball wasn't as
League Pass didn't exist growing up.
That, and it wasn't as accessible to watch.
Right.
Like, you really only got it on, like, TNT had its games and stuff like that. But NBC had the games, but the way I really knew about the league was through video games. Like, I would play, find out who my favorite players are that way, and that's how I, like AI, I couldn't always see AI play, but I could play with them every day on NBA Live. And it, like, gave me something to aspire to. Mm-hmm. Like, man, like, I want to do this. And then when I realized I wasn't going to, grow to be 6 feet, I was like, man, but I want to be involved with the game somewhere. I was like, yo, I want to be an analyst or something like that.
Okay.
So I think that for young girls, and even for like,
for young boys too.
For young boys, it just normalizes women playing basketball.
Right.
So, because we're like, again, it's only 23 years old. So I'm 28. 5 years of my life, there was no WNBA. But just me living in a world when it didn't exist, it's still kind of, I think for some people, it's not normalized yet still.
Right. And you know what's going to be nice? Some of those players are going to have pretty good dunk ratings.
Yeah. So you can,
Grinder's going to be able to dunk. You know, a player like Jonquel Jones is probably going to be able to dunk. Maybe Glory Johnson. Like, people who we know, Sylvia Fowles, people who we know that can dunk, they're going to be able to dunk. And that's going to be fun.
Yeah. Like, and again, I just think it's a beautiful moment, a watershed moment for the league because, again, like, it's, like, what if a girl wants to, you know, go and play 2K? Like, we got to stop acting like women don't play video games and that women aren't sports fans. I didn't even realize until recently, like, how many women really, really love basketball. Like, a lot of them know a lot about the game.
Because the only thing you could do right now, to my recollection, is essentially create a woman and play on the playground.
I don't even think you can do that. Can you?
You can't make a woman and play on the playground on the game?
You can make a woman and play on the playground. I don't think you can.
I hope so.
I don't think I know because that means it would have to be my player because the people you create are through my player and you basically put them in the NBA. So it like goes to that storyline. So no, I don't think you can create a woman and put them in the playground. Now that may be something that you may be able to do now, or maybe like the game next year, you may be able to create a woman and put them in the playground next year. I don't know if they're gonna have like a my player mode, which would probably be what is necessary. You probably have to have like a my player mode in the WNBA part for it to be necessary for you to do that. But still, it's just great that women can log on and play as their favorite WNBA player or just see a WNBA player on the game playing basketball.
Right. And you'll really be able to see how skilled these players are.
Yeah. Because I feel like sometimes I feel like the women know and people who play basketball and love basketball know. But I think like the casual fan kind of underestimates like and how skilled and also how athletic. Like, it's not 20 years ago. Like, I'm telling you, Diamond DeShields is a world-class athlete.
Yeah,
I was sitting there.
She better dunk on that game.
No. I was literally sitting there. There was a couple rebounds she grabbed. And I was like, did she just do what I think she just did? Like, she was going up. I mean, even Nneka, sometimes she goes up for rebounds. Yeah. Like, goes up and, like, snatches it. And I'm like, yo, did she just.
Nneka can get up, too.
Yeah, Nneka can get up and, like, yo, did she just do. Like, and I think the athleticism of the league was even something that I even underrated. But again, it's 2020. Like, we know how to train everybody much better. Like, even look at the high school kids doing all types of dunks in between the legs that you would have never thought you would see out of a high schooler 15 years ago.
Right.
So I think that people underestimate the athleticism and the skill, and I'm with you. I think the video game will help out a lot because it's a simulation of real life. And I think that the game will help out a lot, and it's a great moment, and the league needs more of that. And that's what like the league needs is things like that because it's about the youth. Like everything is about the youth and just about the future and making them fans. Because if you can make a 10-year-old a fan, that's something that he or she carries with them for the rest of their lives.
And you know what else they had to do?
What's up?
To use their likeness?
What's up?
Pay them.
More money.
They had to pay him. I don't know how much.
Yeah.
But they had to pay him.
Much, but they definitely had to pay him.
Yeah.
So more money for the league. So I loved Coach's answer, and I mean, I could have asked him about the game, but I had to ask him about 2K. Like,
it's very important.
Like, man, I'm an avid 2K player. Like, I'm telling everybody, I'm giving people work with the Sparks immediately when the game drops.
This season is May until early October, but NBA season is basically starting then, so you're gonna be playing 2K the whole time. Look at all that exposure you can be able to have for the WNBA that nobody would be talking about when you basically be able to play that season, the 2K season with the WNBA from October until they start again until May.
And now you can have favorite players that aren't necessarily like the marquee guys. Well, women. Like, you know, maybe Chelsea Gray can be your favorite player now. Maybe you might Sydney Weiss maybe Maria might be your favorite player because you play with them on a game and you like the way they play on the game. So now you want to transfer it into real life and actually watch them more and see who they are. Right. Again, like that's how AI became my favorite player. Okay. I mean, like I saw him with the tats and like the braids, and he looked cool to me. But I played with him so much on NBA Live, so that because again, I couldn't watch. Like I feel like the WNBA is at the level of accessible that the NBA was maybe like 20 years ago. Whereas you can watch the WNBA every day, but everybody doesn't have league pass, things like that. With basketball and NBA, you can pretty much find an NBA game every day on television.
That's true.
Like every single day. WNBA, you can't really find a WNBA game every single day on television. So, again, I think the video game will help with exposure, and you'll be able to see your favorite players much more often, no matter what market they play in. And you'll be able to have different favorite teams as well. So, yeah, I think it's one of the best moments and best things that's happened to the league. But
I agree with you.
anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
Oh, no, I just want to say what's up to everybody. You know, John W. Davis, shout out to W Insider, where I do a lot of my Sparks work.
Shout out Insider.
LA Sparks beat reporter for them, and just doing some great work and looking forward to the team coming back home after a couple games, and we'll see how they do on the road against Dallas and Chicago, and then they'll be back.
Gonna be in Chicago when they play this guy, so I'm gonna actually try to go to the game and
all right,
and,
we'll represent for us then.
We'll do. But as always, man, appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the support. It's been Sparklight, and as he said, we'll see how they do on this road trip, and go Sparks. Hopefully they next time we talk, they're 17-8. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.
Got me up so high, going down my mind for you. You got me up so high, going